Direct attention to chart 7. Here you have the final stage of the Bloodfly infection. This patient is 37 years of age, was a school headmistress before her unfortunate encounter large nest, larval swellings throughout the body. But what the drawings cannot show you is her demeanor before death. The most striking symptom of progressed infection is the protective attitude demonstrated towards the nest. This tells us, even prior to autopsy, that the larvae, or their byproducts, have infected the intention center of the victim's brain. Silver graph image 4. There is no cure once the condition has advanced this far, though you can make your patient less agitated with a generous dosing of opiates. The subject died 3 days after the silver graph was taken. And here is the fully mature insect after its post-bloodfly transformation, now in beetle form. Note it has dropped its wings, it is no longer aggressive, and has many beneficial qualities, especially in the field of agriculture. Without these insects, many crops across Urkonos would suffer. Huh. That's kind of cool. Old note from Dr. Hypatia. Vasco, today was exhausting. I expect the flood of patients will be unabated tomorrow well into the foreseeable future. It would be most helpful to me if you set up a triage area. Send me only the most urgent cases, especially issues of severe bronchial distress, black spittle, festering wounds, or pediatric cases with coughing or serious injury. These I must see right away. For the rest, could you please handle them personally? I trust your skills as equal to my own. Alas, I fear we will miss the little half-day off we discussed. Next month, for certain, Alexandria. Things to buy. Vasco, sorry to have to send you into town, but I won't be able to proceed. Powdered sea salt, compounding grease, but not lard, it goes rancid too quickly. Rubbing distillates, glycerin, 2 vials of oil of juniper, 2 vials oil of rose. I know the rose oil is expensive, but it's the only thing for clearing the lungs of phlegm, so what can we do? Maybe we'll plant our own rose garden someday, no? Wish that I could go fetch them myself. Oh, they like each other. Vasco's diary. Alexandria's new serum must never leave Addermeyer, and no one must ever know of our failure. We tested it on ourselves, which we often do, in fractional doses. The night was sheer horror. It's hard to describe the effects on the mind, the frenzy it induced. We were not ourselves. Alexandria muttered to herself, calling herself Grim Alex, almost as if she had a total shift in personality. I cannot commit to paper all that occurred, but I burn with shame remembering the way my perspective shifted, as if my entire morality was upended. The following day, after recovering my senses, I felt better than I have in years. The serum might hold the keys to improved lung function and general vigor. It could even ameliorate the effects of some of our worst fevers and infections. But the costs are too high, the absolute loss of empathy, the unfettered appetites. And yet, a week later, I watched Alexandria on the terrace below. She was in a terrible way, disheveled, with words escaping her lips that were jumbled and wild. Her movements were unfamiliar. In the morning, I asked if she had tried the serum again. She was most alarmed, assuring me that she would never again touch even a drop of it. She swears that only a sample remains, safely locked away for future study. Don't think that's true. This time it has a chance to work. I'm certain the dosage is right, and I will only have one chance. Grind all the solid ingredients together, including the aluminium salts. Done. Add some egg whites. They should have some in the kitchen, but I'll have to be discreet. Done. 2 weeks in my safe away from daylight should be enough for the serum base to activate. Add half a syringe of tainted blood taken from an infested human corpse. If Dr. Hypatia was in her right mind, she would probably object to this step, but since the Grand Guard put Addermeyer under lockdown, several men have died, killed by bloodflies. They might as well serve the greater good. All the previous blood samples seemed promising. I'll need to avoid being seen again by the janitor. Heat the final mixture, inject as soon as possible. And month of nests. A patient arrived late at night, complaining of grit in her eyes. The good doctor was resting, finally, so I took the case. After careful observation, I determined that the cause was silver dust from the mines. To bring forth tearing from the eyes, I combined glycerin and pepper oil, which I planned to follow at once with a rinse. However, the burning sensation was apparently quite marked, and the patient was too distressed to let me attend any further. Yeah, no shit. However, the flow of tears was sufficient that I'd wager by morning her eyes were clear. I declare my idea for purging the eyes of grit to be a success. I could sell the formula, just the thing to get dust and debris banished from the eyes. Vasco's formula for eyes and ears, that's what I'll call it, fast and effective. All with Dr. Alexandria Hypatia's permission, of course. She knows best. It's a little much, buddy.